Your story matters, don't let it fade. When everything changed, you were made.
Hello and welcome back to One Stories, the podcast. I'm Wendy Babcock. Today I am joined with the lovely Paquita. Welcome, Paquita.
Hi, how are you?
So I'm going to have you I'm doing great. So I'm just going to jump in and have you introduce yourself to everyone, who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Paquita Purnell. I'm the co-founder of Blessed Divine Creations and the founder of the Divine Solutionist. Blessed Divine Creations is a retail gift shop that we started in 2014. We do everything from customized gift baskets to fragrance body oils, essential oil blends, custom apparel. We have a brick and mortar location that's 1609 Randolph Road in Janesville, and we also have our website too, which is blesseddivinecreations.com.
Awesome. So how long has Blessed Divine Creations been in existence?
It's been in existence since 2014, so this coming December will be 11 years in business.
That's impressive. A lot of business don't make it past 5 years. So the fact that that has been in existence for about 11 years, that's something to celebrate.
Oh, yeah. And we did for our 10th, we did a masquerade ball to celebrate 10 years in business. And that was so fun. And just to, have to focus on us, and everybody had such a good time. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. My husband and I were fortunate enough to go to that masquerade ball too, and we had a blast. It was such a great party, and it was just beautiful when you walked in. You just felt like you were almost amongst royalty. It was so beautifully done. So let's talk quick about, because things for you are shifting a little bit, right? You're adding something into the business of what you're doing. Do you want to talk a little bit about what this looks like for you?
Okay. So yes, my newest brand is the Divine Solutionist. I am going into coaching now. So I'm helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs to help them with startup of their business. Like when I first started, there were things that I just didn't know, like EINs are free. I had friends that were starting businesses as well, and they were like, I'm going to pay somebody $250 for the package and everything. And I'm like, you can do that all by yourself. You don't need to pay somebody $250 for an EIN or your LLC and stuff like that. So I'm excited to help them with those things. Also, just being a resource for them. I got the nickname The Plug back in the day.
It's okay.
There's so many organizations that I was a part of, and then I'm great at networking. So I know quite a few people that can help you get to where you need to be. So if I can make that connection for them too. So I'm excited about that.
I love that. It's great because this sounds like, when you're starting a new business like you did, right? There's a lot of things you don't know and a lot of people you don't know. And so I feel like obviously a divine solutionist, right? That speaks very much to what you're going to be doing. Plugging them into the communities, the networks, as well as here's how you do things. Here's how you get started without draining your bank and going bankrupt before you even get started, So talk a little bit about some of the things that happened when you started your business, because I know you had a lot of women that surrounded you that, kind of helped you as well. And I know that that's how you're giving back in this new business.
Yeah, so when I first started the Blessed Divine Creations, we were in contact with the Progress Center for Black Women. The founder is Sabrina Madison, and she was the one that taught me how to do Canva. She hosted the very first expo we ever attended to vend with our business. But yeah, the Progress Center does quite a few things for Black women in the Madison area. And so they help you with networking. They help you with different skills. They bring in the law clinic. They've brought in Busy Bee service, which is helping you with like your website and things like
Mhm.
that. And then when I moved down to Janesville, uh, I met Gina K. Stevens, who is the founder of Rock County Jumpstart, and they have like business classes and accelerators, different things like that to kind of help you move your business from just like the 9 to 5 thing to like really help you offering like QuickBook classes. Like I was in
Right.
that first accelerator and we had to learn to pitch our business, and I won third place for pitching my
Wow.
business. And then I just recently did another one through them called the STEM Accelerator, and it was teaching us how to put technology into our business. So I've learned Chat GPT and 3D design. I'm like,
Wow.
this is it was so cool. It was 16 weeks of this program, and then we had to pitch our project, and I won third place for that. So yeah, it's just been really cool. You got to find
That's
those organizations to kind of help you with that too. And Webic has been a big help with us too. We got our first Kiva loan, which is a zero interest loan through Kiva, and it's like a crowdfunding loan.
yeah.
And we were the first, yeah, we were the first one to be to have our Kiva loan funded within 24 hours. Like it went live, and
Wow.
then 24 hours later, it was fully funded. I was like, wow, because Bank of America did like the price match. So if somebody did $25, they would do 25. If they did 50, they would do 50. It was so great. So cool.
So cool. Wow. I've donated to Kiva before. So, I mean, yeah, I know how that
Uh-huh.
works. That's really cool if they do that and that, Bank of America matches it.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit because obviously we're here because you did your one story. You told your when everything changed moment. What was that process like for you, right? So, I mean, obviously we dive deep. We bring in the hard things to talk about. What was that like for you?
Oh man, that was, oof, I would say, transformative. Um,
Wow. Okay.
really had to, I really had to dig deep in there to figure out when my win moment was, and kind of figure out what to share and what not to share. Um,
Yeah.
because my thing is, I didn't want to focus on the actual like abuse and pain. I wanted it to be more about the people who poured into me, finding the strength to heal and get better
Mm-hmm.
for me and my kids. Um, but yeah, it felt transformative because writing the win story, and then practicing it, and I say a couple of powerful moments in my win story, and you have to embody that, and it just, yeah, it just feels like
Yeah.
a new door open for me, and I'm just kicking it open and going through.
Wow. Yeah, you really did a phenomenal job, and writing your talk because there was the challenge of let's not focus on all the bad stuff. Let's focus on the overcoming for you. And I love that you took that approach because it's easy sometimes to focus on the bad, right? And not, geez, how the hell did I get out of this? How did I survive this? How did I endure? And the forefront of your story for me that I heard was you did so much for your children to show them what a powerful force their mother is. And that is such a gift. for especially daughters to see, right, their moms
Yeah.
overcoming and getting through the things that you did. So, it was very powerful. So I'm excited for everyone to listen to it after this podcast interview. We're going to play Paquita's When story, the audio, so you can actually hear her story. And there are so many mic drop moments throughout your talk. I mean, you could just feel it when you were on stage. You'd step up to the front of that rug and you make those moments. So it was like, oh, yes.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Yeah.
There was my cousin is, I believe she's my second cousin. She got to watch the Win story during the premiere, and she quoted a part of it back to me, and she said she felt strength again. I was like, what? And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
if my family can feel this, if it changes one person's life that way, then it's done its
Yeah.
purpose.
And what's amazing, what I found over time is you don't always get to hear those stories, right? People, when they share that, wow, you changed my life is awesome. But I always think about all the people who don't reach out and who don't say that, but that you did change their lives. And I think your story is going to do that for a lot of women. And especially, you brought this up too, that you're the first, Black woman to do your When story on the stage and, Black owned woman business. Right. So
Yeah.
there's some really great strides there. And I think it's just showing that you get to honor your power and what you've done and everything you've overcome. And that just, I think that's a huge inspiration for so many women, especially, in your community. I think that's a huge inspiration. So that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does feel good because it's like in our culture, we're told to just be strong and handle it. But
Right.
no one checks on the strong, and so it's just
Right.
like, so if they can hear my story and understand you got a voice and you can use it, and your story does matter. But don't
Yeah.
don't be so strong that you can't share it,
Yeah.
because we hold a lot in. Women in
Well,
general hold a lot in.
oh yeah. And I think you even talk about it, a little bit in your one story around when someone told you like you're doper than you think you are, and then you didn't really believe it. Like, wait, what? Me?
Yeah, I was
So
like, what?
sometimes you need to hear those things, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
hear those things. So,
I am not.
but yeah,
Yeah.
so I appreciate you, coming on and talking more about your business. So again, can you just rephrase where people can find you and learn more about, the Divine Solutionist? Where do they go to find more about Paquita?
Yeah. So you can go on to Facebook. The Divine Solutionist has a Facebook page.
Good.
I currently working on a website for the Divine Solutionist, but you can find us on Facebook and you can find us on Instagram. And you can also find us under blesseddivinecreations.com as well.
I think you're going to help a lot of women. So yeah, if you're in that beginning phase of your business and you're not sure where to go and you don't feel like putting out a ton of money for things that you're not sure you even need, Paquita's who you need to talk to. So all those links will be in the show notes down in this episode. So reach out to Paquita. So thank you again, Paquita.
Thank
And
you.
then next up is Paquita's When story, the audio. So take a listen and let her know what you think.
Your story matters, don't let it fade. When everything changed, you were made.
When everything changed, I was sitting on the edge of my bed crying. Everything in me wanted to move, but fear had frozen me. Then my 11-year-old daughter walked into the room. She sat beside me and she asked, "Why do you stay in this chaos?" I looked at her, heartbroken, ashamed, and I said, "Because I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. I'm scared to leave and you lose another father figure." She looked at me with those innocent eyes and said, words I'll never forget. "As long as I have you, that's all that matters." In that moment, something shifted. I knew I had to leave. But it wasn't just her I was carrying. I had her siblings at the time who were 3 and 1. 3 small children, no clear plan, just a tired heart and a mustard seed of faith. I called my mom, and her response was simple: just come home. Even that felt impossible. I wrestled with all the what ifs. Could I really do this? Raise 3 children, work full time, run a small business, and try to heal? It tested my faith in every way. But looking back now, I can see that God was already walking me through the unknowns. He knew the plan, even if I couldn't see it. I wasn't new to faith. I was born and raised in church. My grandmother, Lizzie Ruth, was an evangelist. She was also my Sunday school teacher, and she would take me on the road with her to her speaking engagements. I didn't know it then, but she was preparing me for platforms like this, for storms I didn't see coming, and for the purpose that I would one day walk in. When I was just 13 years old, I lost her. That's when the lights went dim, and that's when the depression began. At 14 years old, we moved from Syracuse, New York to Toledo, Ohio, because our General Motors plant closed where my father worked. We had no family nearby, no support system at all. That's when I started to realize that my parents were fighting their own demons. My mother, one of the strongest women I know, was battling with severe mental health challenges due to childhood trauma, which led to a drug addiction. And to cope, my father was dealing with alcoholism. So that left me, the oldest, to take care of my brother and sister, who were 11 and 5 years old at the time. So I was going to high school, maintaining a 3.9 grade point average, and running track and cross country. I didn't have time for boys or parties. I didn't have the luxury of a social life. I didn't have time to fall apart. I just kept pushing. Despite the pressure, the pain, and the silence I carried, I graduated high school. I then went on to attend Eastern Michigan University, where I earned my Bachelor's of Science in Public Law and Government with a minor in Communications. That degree just wasn't a piece of paper. It was a symbol that I had persevered, and it meant everything to my dad because he never graduated high school. I remember the day I was graduating, I was walking across the stage, and he's in the rafters, and all I can hear is, yeah, my baby's name, which I will not repeat, but it was like through me, he got to walk through a door that never opened for him. After graduating, I moved back to Wisconsin, and I was going out every single night because I didn't get to do it when I was a teenager. I was looking for escape, looking for connection, and falling into some of the worst relationships I have ever been in. And eventually, I decided I'm going to move back to Syracuse, New York, and try to reset my life. And I was working for a little bit. Then one day, I met my oldest daughter's father inside of the Sam Goody at the mall, of all places. And for the first time in my life, I had a man treat me well. The relationship moved quickly, and soon I became pregnant. But by May of 2007, the relationship was declining. And I said to him, hey, I need your support or I'm going to go back to Wisconsin. He looked at me and he said, you got to do what you got to do. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I packed what little I had and I put myself on a train back to Wisconsin. 4 months pregnant, no money, no job, no way to support the life that I was carrying inside of me. But I had faith and I had a reason to fight. Once I got back to Wisconsin, my parents and my siblings stepped right in. They bought Kylia everything, who was born on November 2nd, 2007. By the time she was 2 months old, I had a job as a float receptionist at Mercy Hospital in Janesville. By the time she was 4 months old, I had a permanent position at the hospital as a department secretary of medical management. By the time she was 6 months old, we had our own apartment. I had made it a goal to take her to Disney World when she turned 5 years old. And I did it. I was navigating single motherhood, building a stable home, and showing my daughter what it was like to keep going, even though it was hard. But then in 2010, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. Between hospitalizations, medications, and dark thoughts, I felt like I was losing the war inside of my own mind. But 2014, that was a pivotal year for me. My friend, Kawana Ragland, came to me, and she came to visit. And she said to me, Paquita, you have to find out who you are outside of being a wife and a mother. I didn't have the answer, so I prayed for one. And God reminded me, you love to create. See, when I was crafting, that was my escape. It was my therapy. It was my voice. I didn't feel like I was broken. I didn't feel like I was a failure or a burden or someone just trying to survive. It was the one place in my mind that I could quiet down, where my hands could create beauty out of nothing. So in 2014, my mother and I created our first business, Blessed Divine Creations. It's a retail gift shop that specializes in customized gifts and more. Born in pain, but fueled by purpose. We began to vend all across Wisconsin, and with every customer I spoke to, my confidence grew. And then I had business mentors like Sabrina Madison of the Progress Center for Black Women and Gina K. Stevens of Rock County Jumpstart began to pour into our business in me. They saw something in me that I was just beginning to see for myself. With that confidence, I decided to leave in 2019. My children and I moved back in with my parents in Janesville, Wisconsin. That was the year I committed to healing. Started therapy, some deep soul work. But this time I told my therapist, no medication. I need to feel this. I need to find me again. But it's amazing when you're in that season, God will send somebody to you that you need to pour into you. And for me, that was a woman named Vicki Lynn. She's the founder of the Black Women in Business Expo Beloit. She was a powerhouse. She was a light. She was a comedian, a visionary, and she had this gift of seeing greatness in people. I went to her first expo and I was sitting behind my table and I was still being a little shy. And she walked over to me. She said, "You're doper than you realize. And you're going to help me with this expo next year." I said, who, me? She said, "Yeah, you." So over the next 4 years, she poured into me. She challenged me and she helped me to find my voice. She also was battling with kidney failure. And one day she said to me directly, "If anything happens to me, I want you to take over this expo." I didn't know it then, but she was also leading me for more than a role, but she was passing on legacy to me. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. In 2020, we began vending at the Janesville Farmers Market in the Uptown Janesville. Our booth was situated in front of an empty storefront that used to be a Christopher and Banks. And every week I would peer into the store and I'm like, God, this would make such a beautiful storefront. And week after week, I would just look in and I would walk by and I would pray and asking God to align His will with my dreams. Then in 2021, Rock County Jumpstart began advocating with the mall for Black-owned businesses to fill some of these empty vacancies. And I remember walking into that office at the mall, and the mall manager was like, "Do you have any storefronts in mind?" And without hesitation, I said, "Christopher and Banks." She smiled and she looked up at me and said, "The keys on this desk, those are the Christopher and Banks." You can't tell me that God doesn't answer prayers. You can't tell me He doesn't have the plan. He doesn't play about me. He shows up and He shows out. In 2023, Figgy Lynn passed away unexpectedly. It shook me. It hurt. But those words echoed. And you have to take it over. So today, I lead the Black Women in Business Expo Beloit as the committee lead with our committee, honoring her legacy, and not just as an event, it's a calling. Healing isn't pretty, and it's never easy. It takes a lot. But you have to do the work. You have to do the healing. Because without healing, you stay in the ashes. And I did not come through the fire to stay burned. Every step of healing pulled me closer to the woman that I was supposed to become. That healing brought something, some things that I've just never expected. I was invited by Araceli Esperza, founder of Midwest Mujeres, to train for her Yo Quiero Dinero event, to speak publicly for the first time. I trained with 7 other dynamic women, and I got to meet my stage partner, Vanessa Cook, who would later go on to become such a light in my life. Just a few minutes before Vanessa and I were to go on stage, Araceli came to me. She pulled me to the side. I still had Vanessa's hand. And she said something that made my heart stop. There was someone in the audience that I never wanted to show up. I froze. My mind raced. My throat closed. Thinking I worked so hard to be on this stage. And then I felt it. A slight squeeze from Vanessa's hand in mine. And without even looking at her, I knew exactly what that meant. You got this. Speak anyways. So I turned back to Araceli and said, no, don't make them leave. Let them sit there and listen. In that moment, I took my power back. That night, I stood in the spotlight. I told my truth. I didn't whisper it. I didn't water it down. That night made me realize that I could use my voice in even bigger ways. Because I'm not who the trauma said I was. I am not who the depression tried to silence. I am who God says I am. A woman of faith, a mother, a business owner, a leader, a speaker, a survivor. You know, you don't have to have this thing all figured out. You just need to know that there is a divine solution already inside of you. So through both businesses, I get to help others find their own divine strategies. Blessed Divine Creations is still serving with heart, offering handcrafted gifts and inspiration. And my newest brand, The Divine Solutionist, helps empower entrepreneurs with strategic coaching, spiritual alignment, and practical tools to help them build their businesses. You see, everything that I walked through didn't ruin me. It refined me. Every setback, every tear, every moment that I wanted to give up was fire shaping something greater in me. So if you're listening to me today, you are not broken. You're being rebuilt. The pain did not come to bury you. It came to reveal you. So don't just survive it. Build. Build the life you deserve. Build the business. Build the boundaries. Because you are not what came to break you. You are the evidence of what healing can become. Because when you survive the fire, you don't come out the same. You come out refined. You come out ready. And I am ready. Thank you.
Your story matters, don't let it fade. When everything changed, you were made.